Hey there, Laker fans. Welcome to Lakers Detailed. I'm your host, Vinay, with my co host, Raj. Raj, the Lakers post All-Star break are 1-1 with a close win over the Los Angeles Clippers and an absolute thrashing last night by the Boston Celtics in a game where, a lot of folks who aren't Laker fans and they're fans of specific players and they come to the Lakers, they don't understand maybe sometimes how much it means, what it means to us to watch the Lakers beat a team like the Celtics. We always joke around that we could go 0 for 81 or 0 for 80, but if those two wins come against the Celtics, we're pretty happy about stuff like that. So the Lakers get beaten pretty badly last night to the Celtics, and then obviously we have the game with the Clippers. Two very different games, Raj, from different players. A lot of different elements that we're going to hit up in regard to this. We're going to jump right into it. But before we jump right into it, my friend, how are you doing?
I am doing well. I've been traveling a ton. Have another trip coming up this week. Going to San Francisco on Thursday in a few days. Hopefully, going to catch the Lakers Warriors game up there. And yeah, I was in the building for Lakers Celtics, an eerie game. Before we get into the basketball, just a lot of Celtics fans in the building, which was really strange, I thought. And I'm talking about right away. Usually, when the road team starts to get a lead, then you can kind of hear them really make themselves known. But in that game, right away, I think Jaylen Brown got an early layup, and right away, the crowd, you could just hear the Celtics fans kind of in the building. So that was a little shocker. That was a little eerie. But yeah, I'm good, man. Good. Had a little root canal this morning, but I'm back talking and I feel good. How about you? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. The break was good. Did a couple of Radio KB episodes, so that was nice. It's been nice to kind of decompress my brain. The break was also nice from basketball too as well. It was interesting to see how the Lakers came out against the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
I was very is upset the word, Raj? I don't know. Disappointed, annoyed, probably the
Okay.
correct words that I'd use when it comes to describing how I felt last night or how I felt these past 24 hours. I have smartly stayed off the timeline because Laker fans are
Smartly. Yes.
uh, at war, at arms with each other. Um, I binge watched this. This will be my non-Laker thing. I binge watched A Night of Seven Kingdoms. It's a Game of Thrones theme show on
Okay.
HBO. It's
Okay.
a great show. I have read all of the Game of Thrones books, A Song of Ice and Fire, and I read all of the books up until and I watched the Game of Thrones show. There's like 8 seasons of it, but I only
Yes.
watched up to season 5. Like there's a point in the season where it specifically diverges from the books because the books
Okay.
haven't been written yet. So I stopped watching the show completely. I've seen some spoilers about it, but I refuse to watch anything after that. And then there's this other show called House of Dragons. I haven't watched any of that show at all. But I took a chance on this Night of Seven Kingdoms. It's a novella that's written by the same author. And boy, does it restore the feeling. So any folks, any detailers, shout out to the Detailers Club, who's been active the entire time. But for anybody who's into Game of Thrones, check out the show. Raj, I know you don't have time for anything outside of Lakers basketball and family.
I did watch Game of Thrones, but I
Yes.
watched it kind of while NBA Twitter and Game of Thrones
Mm.
had their kind of connection. It was a really cool time.
Game of Zones. Yeah.
Uh it's a time that sometimes we have some nostalgia about.
Yeah.
NBA Twitter was kind of this uh thing that was going up on a linear, line, and everyone was kind of enjoying things at the same time in a way that I don't know, the world is just different now where, there's just a
Yeah.
bajillion apps and things like that going on. But yeah, so maybe I'll check that out once the season ends or something. I'll do you have to read the books to understand that show, the
Night of Seven
seven?
Kingdoms.
Yeah.
No, I haven't read the books. There are
Okay,
books, but I
gotcha.
haven't read the books, so I just take it. I take it as it is. So I don't mind that at all. It's one of those things where you kind of go into it blind, so it's kind of nice when you do that. I also watched a movie. I watched Predator Badlands. If you're into aliens or sci-fi or anything like that, great movie if you're
Okay.
into that series. So recommend watching that too as well. But outside of that, dude, I've been pretty good. Life's been being life as of late. Um, but nobody's here to hear about our hobbies. They want to know what we think about Lakers basketball. So uh, I'm not going to separate the games out, Raj. We're just going to discuss them holistically.
Mm-hmm.
So you're free to jump anywhere you want to jump to when it comes to it. But let's just talk about let's not bury the lead. The Lakers got their butts kicked by the Boston Celtics. And no matter, granted, it's just one game of 82. Um, this was another reminder, I thought, for me as I walked away from that game, that this team is just not there. Like you've been a big proponent of why do people talk about this Lakers team like they're 10 games below 500 when they're
Right.
clearly above. The most interesting part about this is prior to yesterday's game, Boston and LA were separated by only 2 losses. Their
Mm-hmm.
records are very close to each other. Obviously, Boston's much higher in the seeding because of the conference. But if you watch those two teams, if you watch us play Boston yesterday, you would think that we were 10 games apart from each other. So
Sure.
I have a lot of different thoughts about different players, different themes that I want to get into. But I'm going to let you lead the way before
Okay.
I hastily interject with my
Yeah.
thoughts. So tell me, where do you want to start? What do you want to discuss from what you've seen these past 2 games?
Yeah, I think I've been the biggest, I think, kind of proponent of online, and I've gotten kind of yelled at about this, but like I wanted to see these three play together. This is game
Mm-hmm.
that yesterday I think was game 12 between Luka, LeBron, and AR, and of course everybody throws again the net rating of those three together. I think it was like minus 20 net rating in
Mm-hmm.
that game, whatever it was. That's fine. But I want to see it, and yes, Boston is levels ahead. They are also, I would say, levels ahead in terms of understanding exactly what they want to surround their stars with, right? Even without Tatum there, Jaylen Brown has been there forever. Tatum's been there forever. Derek White has been there years now. They have a system and a culture
Mm-hmm.
that's set. The Lakers are building something. Now, what they're building, I don't know yet. We're trying to figure out, and that's where I think these two teams are far apart in that. But I want to kind of zoom in a little bit, Vinay, because I think it's very easy to, and we're gonna do this on this show, but it's very easy to kind of back out, right? And go, okay, let's dribble the ball out and let's kind of read what the floor is. But I want to kind of zoom in a little bit. JJ Redick mentioned kind of the deep drop that Boston's in. And this is not a new defense, right? This is a common defense that teams have been deploying against the Lakers a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think when teams go uber physical and then they put their big back, they're basically baiting our guards.
Mm-hmm.
The shot we want you to take is a long 2.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, like, yes, that's fine. That's a shot that I think Luka can hit. That's a shot that Austin can hit. That is not a shot to me I want them to have their shot diet with. But hey, Luka Doncic against the Boston Celtics went 1 for 11 in mid-range floater range.
Mm-hmm.
1 for 11. Is that, oh shucks, he missed shots? Or is that Boston going, this is the shot that we're giving you? If you want to take this shot, go ahead. Now, Luka could go 3 for, whatever the math is. I
Mm-hmm.
just think those are off. I just don't think those are shots that are kind of that move the team forward in terms of what their offense is running. I don't know. My look at this is we played the Spurs, we played the Rockets, we played the Suns, we played OKC, we played Boston. All those teams I feel like defend us pretty similarly, and that's where I came away. I didn't really walk away from the Boston game going, damn, that team is out talenting us. I
Sure.
thought they have a scheme that took us out of what we want to do. Austin Reaves took 5 shots in the paint. Or excuse me, 5 shots like in the mid-range
Just,
area.
just highlighting this. This is our guy Paul, letting us know that Austin Reeves should play in Boston.
Yeah.
Paul
Yeah.
always showing up
Yeah.
there. And shout
Shout
out
out
to the
Paul.
dealers. We see a couple of folks from the Detailers Club that are in here.
Yes.
JR, looks like JR is going to be at the game. So if you JR, if you find a way to flag down Raj, you can just message him in the Discord, and I'm
Yeah.
sure if he's
Yeah.
available, he'll
Yeah.
come and see you.
I'll come find you. I don't know how the building works over there, but
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. But I kind of wanted to start there.
Yeah.
I thought the offense was I thought the defense was actually, I mean, it wasn't acceptable, but I thought it was livable. The offense died in a way that it's died consistently against teams that are uber physical and are in the top 8 or 9 of defense. What'd you see from I guess the offensive package? Luka's offense is getting sliced up, in terms of the conversation.
Yeah.
That's not really the point of this, but I do think he's a part of it. But what do you see, I guess, offensively against Boston? Is there a theme there that you're noticing?
So I think the tough twos thing is a real thing. I think teams trying to only allow certain parts of the floor be available for scoring is definitely a thing. I don't think Boston was game planning for that. I think the one thing that Boston did that all the good teams do against the Lakers is they don't really send help. Like they don't hard trap, they don't hard double, they don't show super early. Like
No.
they'll be late. I mean, it's not late to the rotation. It's just like they don't come to help until they know you're going to try and score the basketball, right? So when LeBron gets in the post or Luka gets in the post, if they happen to see you beat the one-on-one matchup that you have, then they're going to come and help on it. But they're not going to come in advance. They're not going to make the read easier for Luka. And I think one of the results of that is it ends up being Luka doing more one-on-one stuff, especially if he's not getting foul calls, right? Like, which is a entirely different topic that we'll discuss later. But if there's one thing that Boston did really well is they never sent. I don't want to say never because I'm sure they did at some point, but they really didn't care to send a second guy. You're posting up Baylor Shireman or whatever that dude's name is, or Peyton Pritchard, and you've got like 6 inches on the guy. We don't care. We're not sending help. Go shoot over this guy, and we're just going to make sure he doesn't foul you and contest you. And I think that is something. So here's my thing. You have to just win those matchups, Raj. Like if somebody is playing your superstar one-on-one and saying, we'll take our chances with this guy who's not a defensive guy, he's not a guy that would blah, blah, whatever, Hugo Gonzalez or whatever his name is in Boston. We're going to play you one-on-one. We're not sending help because they did that. When Hugo Gonzalez was guarding Luka, they didn't send help. They said, no, you're just going to guard him one-on-one and just do your best. We've scouted out what Luka likes to do with his right hand. We scouted out what Luka likes to do with his left hand. We've given you the blueprint, Hugo. You just go defend him the best you can. We're not going to help. Like, Boston is okay with that. And the best teams in the league, not best teams in the league, but the defensive teams in the league that have the bodies. Houston's done this to us. The Suns have done this to us.
OKC. Mm-hmm.
OKC has done this to us. They will play our superstars straight up, and they'll say, we're not going to help until it's like a breaking case of emergency glass sort of situation. We're not going to do it. And even if you beat our guy once, twice, 3 times, we're still not sending help. You've got to beat him you've got to overwhelm them so much that we have to do it. And I don't know if the Lakers can beat a defense that can get stops in that kind of scheme.
My counter to this, Vinay, is I was having this conversation with someone else, and they're like, what's the difference between Luka doing this against bad teams, right? He'll do this against bad. He'll come down and take a fadeaway long 2 and hit it. Difference to me, again, the good teams, number one, they don't go for his pump fakes. Like, they don't make mistakes. There's no, you talked about and yes, there are plays where Luka doesn't get the call, and he should. There are. I also think the referees have heard him cry wolf from outside the arena. You know what I mean? So, you're calling for a foul, driving in the parking lot. We're not really rewarding you here on the court. But yeah, these teams don't go for pump fakes. They don't, to your point about the help, they don't help in the wrong. I think that's a great point of they don't make the pass easy. JJ Redick mentioned that the deep drop takes away the easy pass. Luka Doncic is in conversation for best passer in the league. He doesn't need the easy pass. It could help for sure, but him and LeBron don't need the easy pass. But to me, the solution is not Luka and LeBron go hit 8 fadeaways, because that's just a low percentage shot. You have to hit 60% to win the math game. Boston is chucking threes, driving kick. I'm not saying our defense is top tier, but they're doing drive and kick threes while we're taking fadeaway long 2s contested. And this is consistent. People are asking, why do we get blown out? we just lose the math game consistently. Like every single time the other team is getting up in X amount of open threes, corner threes, while the other team takes away corner threes, or they give them to Vanderbilt, or Smart, or they make the correct defensive adjustment, and they don't make mistakes. And to me, the solution is not like there was a play yesterday, Vinay, out of a timeout. Luka came down, they ran like their stack action, and he took a contested fadeaway 2 with 18 on the clock. Now that's a shot he can hit. I'm not saying he can't hit it, but to me, against teams like the Celtics, the Spurs, like those are wasted. Like even if he hits that, that's like I'm not trying to like bag on Luka here. It's just it's more like I think the team is not connected in terms of all right, this is our game plan. Like yesterday, Boston came out. Bro, when Vucevic was on the floor, there was no messing around. There was like, all right, when he has a switch,
we're just feeding it to him.
Yeah, we're feeding him. But like the Lakers, there was no plan. There was no, this is what we're picking at. This is what we're like, this is what we're, trying to cut at here. There was none of that. It was just, all right, Luka, do you have it? No. All right, LeBron, go ISO against Neemias Queta. And like, that looks like a mismatch, but is it a mismatch?
Yeah.
Queta's a good defender. So that's kind of like, that was annoying to me about that game. Just the shot process, take away the makes results. I thought the process was pretty bad offensively.
Yeah. So this is a good topic because this is a divisive topic on the timeline. And we love divisive topics because I love divisive topics because I get to say stuff and I don't get in trouble for it. And we have to set the disclaimer that these divisive topics are my opinion.
The opinions are of you alone. Yes.
These do not reflect the
right.
All right, so let's get into a divisive topic. Luka's shooting. Okay.
Yes. Talk to me.
I did a Radio KB episode before the Boston game. Luka's shooting is actually trending up. His shooting since the start of January, from all three areas, has been trending up. The one that has been most affected this season was his 3-ball was down significantly, and that's actually trending up.
That's going up
since mid January. It's actually been peaking. Like the rolling average is up to close to like 40%. He's hitting him at a ridiculous clip. And so now his 3 balls like up to like 35, 36%. Raj, he is hitting his shots at the rim. I know he doesn't take a ton, but his shots at the rim at career high numbers now. And his mid-range is back to career high levels. That includes that short floater he likes to take and some of those tough twos that he likes to take. So he's actually, as of now, this point in the season, at least when it comes to shots at the rim and shots in the mid-range, while his 3-ball is trending up, he is hitting shots at a near career high pace, or at least matching what his career highs. I think his third season in Dallas is where he was hitting career highs across the board. So people saying that, oh my God, Luka's shot selection, blah, blah, all that stuff. Look, bro, I get it. I understand people have shot diet is a word that people want to use. But he's hitting them. Like I know when he's missing them is really obvious he's missing them and he's off. But in an aggregate perspective, he is trending up and doing really well. But that's not the divisive topic that I want to get on, Raj. The divisive topic I want to discuss is when we juxtapose these two games against each other, the Clippers game and the Celtics game.
Okay.
In the Clippers game, the same shots that you didn't like Luka taking in the Celtics game were the same ones he took in the Clippers game. And everybody loved it because they went down. And the quality, the what's the word? Not process behind the shot. The diet of the shot. I hate using shot diet, but that's probably the best way to describe it.
Sure.
His shot selection. Sorry. That's what I want to get to. His shot selection wasn't different. It was less contested, probably because, like I said, Boston played him straight up. They would switch some of those matchups. That way he couldn't do certain things.
Whereas better defensive team too.
Better defensive team. Yeah, absolutely. Better scheme with the drop and whatnot behind him. But we love that. Laker fans love that. He went on a crazy scoring barrage in the first quarter, especially after, like, I think Braun sat and Austin sat, and he just went crazy after that, knocking down 3 after 3. But he didn't do that against Boston. So my thing is, this was something that we were talking about. We said that we were going to talk about this. Is the audience, the fans, are we doing that thing where we have the Xbox controller in our hand and we're watching Luka play game to game, and we see him knocking down all these shots against the Clippers, but then he takes those same shots against the Celtics and he's not making them, and we're trying to, like, we're sitting here saying, stop taking that shot, but remember, you and I always talk about the human element of basketball.
Sure.
Luka's like, I take that shot all the time. I'm just not making it right now.
Yeah.
What do we do about that? What do I do as a fan? What do I do with that? Because to me, as a content creator, somebody who cares about the small things in basketball, I understand the gripes that people have, that people want him to recognize that his shot isn't falling and to be more not passive, but like be more sharing the ball sort of thing. I think Rui had a quote today about that. But at the same time, I also
Yeah.
understand him being like, yeah,
I'm
but I could,
averaging 35 a game. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I also want to say this because I think this is a little unfair that people are doing this, and this is not to throw Luka Bill. The rest of the Lakers team was not making shots. Luka was
Sure.
one of the only guys, no matter how ugly it looked, he was one of the only guys making shots for the Lakers last night, like on his own. And so it's just, it's hard for me when I'm trying to balance all these different things to come to. So tell me, what do you think about that statement, that
Yeah.
analysis?
I think that's fair. I also, the question, not to make you answer this now, because I'll continue in terms of what you were talking about, but is this the best way to optimize Luka Doncic? Right. And I think that's kind of the question. Is this am I like just watching Luka play as much as we have now? He's been here almost over a calendar year. I think this is the way Luka enjoys playing basketball. I think this is the way it gets him going. I don't think Luka Doncic, in my opinion, just watching him, wants to come down and have to tactically think of every shot he's taking, right? I think Luka wants to feel the game, right? He wants to come down and go, okay, what am I feeling on this possession? Oh, that guy's backing up a little bit. Oh, I'm feeling good. I don't care. There's 3 defenders around me. I'm just taking a step back jumper. That's baked into this formula to me. I'm not trying to make Luka, or at least I'm hoping the fans aren't either, trying to like robotically make Luka Doncic some player that comes down like Chris Paul and it's like, let's run 18 seconds on the clock and get into this action. Not really about that. I think success can be his guide a little bit more than he allows, right? So against the Clippers, he was 8 of 13 from 3. Like, he was scorching hot, right? And to me, it didn't matter what the Clippers were doing. People were joking that he started yelling at Chris Dunn because he hit it out behind the screen. Like, it didn't matter what was going on. Luka Doncic was on absolute fire, especially against the Clippers. I think he hit 3 or 4 threes right away in the first quarter. So he was blazing hot. But again, against the Celtics, who have a better defensive team, have more size to throw at him, a little bit more connected, right? The Clippers just traded for a bajillion guys. They're working dudes in. The Celtics are like, we know exactly who we are. We can fit 1 or 2 people around and we're going to play our system. I think against those teams, Vinay, the bar does raise a little bit, right? What you're doing and what you're running, the margins start to come into play. And so to me, like, it's not changing Luka in terms of, hey, or like, let's go run this action 50 times. Like, it's not really what I'm trying to say, or hopefully that's not what the criticism is, but it's a tough spot because also we grew up watching Kobe. This is how great players operate. This is just how they it's like, I always make this comparison, but it's like asking a fish, like, how do you feel about water? It's like, what are you talking about? Like, I just swim. Like, there's nothing like, I don't know how the waves dynamically work, in terms of physics, but I think that's how Luka plays basketball. But I do think like there's a reason there's coaching. There's a reason there's 13 guys on the staff. There's a level of optimization, I think, that can reach even the numbers at 35 a game. I think there's a way to get to it in a more efficient manner. There's a way that LeBron, AR, and Luka have to work together in a seamless way that I don't think they've found yet. You mentioned the one-on-one basketball. I think all 3 of them playing together promotes one-on-one basketball in a way that is damaging against good teams. But again, Luka's gonna do his thing, and some of those you just kind of live with as a fan of. Hopefully those go down, and to your point, they've been going down more. But I think against the good teams, Vinay, that's where the margins matter. That's where what shots you're taking come into play. How many of those are contested? They're playing the numbers game in a way that you have to kind of counteract. Does that make sense? As like where I guess the criticism should get to. There's a line that it's crossed in terms of saying you can't win with Luka. That's when it's getting like in a strange place. But I think there's some, hey, against the good teams, like Boston has shown in a finals run, let alone in a regular season game, that, hey, this is how we are going to look to slow you down. What are you gonna do
Mm.
about it? And I think there's some answers there that we haven't reached yet.
Yeah, I do agree with the fact. I do agree with the idea that against the really good teams, you can't really waste possessions. You can't
Yeah.
waste those possessions. And I'm not saying that Luke is wasting the possessions, um, but you have to be more judicial with
Yes.
your shot selection, especially if they're trying to gear you. So I do agree with that. I'm just very curious to know where that judiciousness, I don't know what the right word is for that, where that comes from. Because in reality, if we're being fair, Raj, that has to
Sure.
come from JJ. That has to be JJ telling Luka, look, they're giving you one-on-ones. They're not sending help. The shot is not falling right now. I'm not going to tell you to not shoot the ball or not pick on the matchup, but we just have to like be aware. Like, so I don't know how that, I'm not a coach. I don't know how that conversation, like, I know how that's gone when I played basketball and I played like when I played with other guys who were like the scorers for our team and I'm the guy who's setting them all up.
Sure.
And I can tell when a guy is just like, you're in your own head, you're missing a bunch of shots. Like, I know how to coach that up. Like, I could be like, bro, you're just in your own head. Like, don't take the jump shot. Just drive, get a foul, get fouled or something. Like, go to the room. So it's like stuff like that. I know how to do it from like a player to player perspective, playing with somebody like as a teammate, but I don't know how a coach does that with Luka. And look, he's had other coaches. He's had Rick Carlisle, very decorated coach, right? Jason Kidd, decorated coach, decorated player, and JJ Redick, also a very decorated player too, to some degree. So I'm not saying that he's uncoachable. I'm not saying that he isn't, but the core theme with some of these games also tends to be that his shot selection, he's going to take tough twos no matter what. I want to make something clear. He's going to take those. I don't care what Laker fans think. I don't care what it was. You're a Bron fan, Austin fan, Luka fan, Kobe fan. Doesn't matter. Tough twos. The best players in the NBA, they take tough twos. That's literally what makes them the superstars. Yeah,
and they have to take them. Like
they have to take them. Yeah,
you have to take them.
This is not Giannis basketball where it's like I'm just gonna bulldoze my way to the rim every possession.
Yeah,
or like Jokic throwing his weight around and stuff like that. And Luka's not built like that either.
No,
these guys, they have to take tough twos, so he's going to take them. You're not legislating that out of his shot diet,
absolutely
his
not.
shot selection. My only thing is, let's take this away from Luka, okay? And we're going to gravitate towards some of the other things that I wanted to talk about. Who is the adult in the room telling the Lakers, hey, our shot selection is as a team right now is not good? Like, we just went on, I'll give you an example. In the third quarter, we go on a run with, I think Luka's on the bench, Austin and LeBron are leading the Lakers. The Lakers go on a run because they continually get downhill and attack the rim. They cut like a 13-point lead to like 7 or 9 or something like that, something like that. And then literally the next 4 minutes after Boston calls a timeout, all we're doing is hucking up a bunch of threes. Like we take like 4 threes in a row. I think Marcus Smart took like 2 or 3 of them. And I'm sitting there, I'm just like, why did we just stop doing exactly what we were doing that got us into this game? And Boston's doing the opposite. They're like, no, we're going downhill now. And we're gonna, Peyton Pritchard's trying to get to the rim and all that sort of stuff, taking middies. Who is the adult in the room here, Raj? Like, who is it? Is it just JJ? Do the stars have any responsibility in this? Like, what should I do?
Yeah. I mean, I think the Marcus Smart shots, the tough part about it, and this is what good teams do, right? They force your bad shooters to be wide open. These are wide open shots, and some of those just have to go down. Like they just, Rui, I thought, missed a few that you just have to kind of make, especially when your stars are doing the work to create them. And I think that's also a little bit deflating when because you're right, they were driving, and all of a sudden Boston smartly, as a good team does, go, all right, we're gonna put a little bit more help on your drives, and you're gonna have to kick this out. And our stars aren't unselfish. They're not guys who are gonna ignore open shooters, especially if it's a guy like Marcus Smart who's shown that he can hit some shots. So I think that's the guy that kicked out. And Marcus, I think, one almost airballed. The other two were pretty far off. And I think, I don't know who's gonna tell anyone what, like, this is the thing though. Like I was saying, I would have liked this loss to have happened. Not that I was rooting for a loss, but I would have loved this game, but in like game 25. You know what I mean? Where like, all right, this is what happened in this game. Let's work on this. But in game 60 or 58 or whatever it is, it's just all right, wrap this up and let's go. Like we got to
Mm,
get to the next game. They play Orlando tomorrow. You can't even think about that game or even put it on a whiteboard somewhere and go, all right, these were the things that Boston did to us. So
yeah,
next time we play them, let's do some adjustments. None of that is possible. You
yeah,
have you have what 13 games now with this core, these three. You're trying to work out what you can ramp up towards the playoffs with. You're in a seeding battle trying to get the third seed. Like there's no time to build anything out. And that's kind of the sad part with this. But yeah, I'm not sure. Like, can you build trust in 20 games with each other? I don't know.
mm,
Can't can you build trust with 20 games left and nobody really knowing where the ball should go? Austin Reaves, uh, I think he got the most kind of flack for the Celtics game. We can kind of get into him now if you
yeah,
want to. But I thought his shot selection, he had 5 shots in like the inside of the arc, Vinay, which tells me wasn't really sure where his shot should come from.
yeah.
Wasn't sure if he was supposed to defer at this point. Wasn't sure, whether the physicality got to him or whatever it was. Again, I just think the synergy between the three aren't connected yet. But do you want to go through this
Yeah, yeah.
this comment
This is a
here?
great segue. Brandon's actually, we want to shout out Brandon for the $10 super chat. That is extremely generous. And we're always very humbled for the support from all the folks in the Detailers Club, as well as the folks that send in super chats. You definitely don't have to do that, but we appreciate it nonetheless. Brandon says completely out on DeAndre Ayton. Smart can't hit an open damn three. Start Vando over him. AR needs to be more aggressive. Braun's three ball is completely gone this year. Luka needs to take more threes. Rui, useless hitting threes. As you can see, Brandon is very passionate. If you couldn't judge by the exclamation points, I talk to Brandon all the time. With our guys, the coaches den guys. He's in the chat there too as well. He's always active over here too as well. He's been out on DA for a while, I can tell you. So we don't have to discuss the Aiden thing. I know you do want to talk about him, but I do want to hit on this Austin and Braun thing before we go to Aiden. But you could tell that Boston loss just got everybody. I'm just looking at I'm counting how many exclamation points are. There's 1, 2, 3. There's when I get exclamation points in the super chat, that's when I know it really means something. So appreciate you, Brandon, for the super chat. This is a good segue, Raj, because
Okay.
this is my grind my gears segment. This grinds my gears. Austin had a great game against the Clippers. Great game against the Clippers.
Amazing.
And then he goes into this Boston game. And it's for the folks to understand, I'm not framing this as in I'm trashing Austin. It's just the same way we're not trying to trash Luka. We're just kind of just talking out loud. I'm genuinely disappointed at his shot selection in this Boston game, Raj. I'm very disappointed that he deferred as much as he did. And I don't know if it was deference. I didn't see anything in the defense that was in front of him with the stuff that he was running that made me think he should shoot the ball only 10 times in that game. They weren't trapping him. He had a couple turnovers, kind of trying to dribble through the traffic and stuff like that. I know he had that in the Clippers game too, because they were really trying to squeeze the pick and roll action between him and whoever the center was screening for him. But I'm genuinely disappointed because this is a game. Boston is a team that we've seen Austin light up offensively before in winning and losing efforts. And what's disappointing to me is, bro, I want you to get that max contract, Austin. I am rooting for you to get $40 million a year from the Lakers. I need you to go shoot the ball 20 times against Boston. Even if you only make 5 of them, I can live with that. Cade Cunningham played today against the Detroit Pistons. Or sorry, he played, I think they played the Spurs or they played somebody today. And Cade shot 5 of 26. Now, obviously, he's the star player for the Pistons. And Kenneth Perkins is out there saying that he's an MVP candidate, which he might be because the Pistons are a great team this year too as well. He's been great. But if you want that money, if you want max money, I need you to go and take 15, 20 shots. I don't need you to defer to other players. If that pick and roll is, and you have that floater in that pick and roll, and it's going to be contested, whatever, bro. Take the contested floater. I don't need you to kick it out to Rui. Rui shot the ball 4 times, and he's missed 3 of them. Why are we kicking it out to Rui? So this is me saying it from a very loving place. I need him to be him. I need Austin to be the guy that he always is. I can't. It frustrates me that I've watched you do this for 40 games and be this guy that can take 18 to 20 shots a game and I can pencil you in for 25 points or whatever, regardless of whether you get free throws or not. But then these games come up and you're just not doing it. Like, and if anything, it seems like you don't want to shoot the ball because you're trying to be a team player or you're trying to be deferential or you're trying to keep everybody involved. No, I don't want you to. If Luke is already jacking up shots, I need you to jack up shots too, because somebody has
Yeah.
to shoot the ball, and spreading the ball around to guys who aren't making shots isn't going to do anything for us. So that's how I feel. That's my like decompression of how I
Yeah.
feel about Austin these past two games.
Yeah.
Where are you at? Like, what do you think about what I think there?
I'm with you. I thought the Clippers game was fantastic, and he was extremely efficient too. I think he's what 8 of 14 or something like that. Just
Yeah.
extremely efficient against the Clippers. Again, the Celtics ramp up the physicality, and when you have a bunch of guys that you feel like they have three guys that all feel like they can take their matchup, that's part of when success becomes your guide. And Austin is also the least physically imposing of the three, right? So it's very easy for him to go, all right, I don't have the matchup here. Let me swing it to the 6'10" dude who's, who has his matchup, or let me swing it to the other 6'8" guy who's bigger than his matchup. But I'm totally with you. This is part of, again, I would love to know how these timeouts are, discussed and what are discussed when the teams go to the benches. Austin has to be told, or if he has to be told, you got to be aggressive. Like if a team's in a, like JJ kept I mentioned earlier that JJ, was talking about the drop coverage that teams are in. That's not a new defensive coverage. That
So yeah,
hasn't been,
he's played.
yeah, it's been around not just this year, but for a very long time. In my opinion, the Lakers should feel like they have the two best pull-up jump shooting guards in the league. Now the percentages don't really match that, right? You can go and find a more higher percentage backcourt, whatever. You have two guards that feel like your big should not be backed up against me. Like if I come off a screen and I see space, I should have a license to pull.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, to me, Austin should have that license. Luka has that license. Obviously, LeBron can do what he wants as well. But I didn't really see that. And again, I'm not really looking at the percentages or the points. Austin Reaves taking 5 shots in the mid-range area against a team that was backed up on him as much as they were. It's just not enough.
Yeah.
This team is built around those three being offensive engines, hubs, and all of them, I think, shot 40% combined. But you're right, the shot attempts weren't there. I thought the Lakers also, Vinay, were battling the refs. Like
my gosh, yeah.
They were completely distracted by the referees. Every single play.
Some of that stuff was really justified, but
I'm not saying it wasn't, but it definitely kind of ate up a lot of the, a lot of the room in their head in terms of, like I got this bump here, and they're arguing the call while Jaylen Brown just goes full court and says, if no one's going to stop the ball, I'm going to get to the rim and draw fouls. And that was consistent. Derek White did that. They just have a lot of guys that can push the ball. And I thought, Austin, again, some of these calls you don't get in the playoffs as well. Some of this stuff you got to get also used to, right? Some of these little bump calls you don't get in the postseason.
You don't get them.
It's the James Harden equation, right? Yes, you can get 15 free throws in a game in March.
Yeah.
Congratulations, right? The honeymoon in Cleveland is going amazing.
Yes. All the low dribble pickup cheap fouls that you were getting in the regular season, you're not getting them.
Right.
Yeah,
once that wedding hits in April, that's when honeymoon's after that. However that works. To me, like some of those calls, you're just gonna have to kind of get used to not receiving. And I thought the Lakers were way too in their head, screaming at the referees when just play the game, you're right. Some of those calls are justified, but I feel like this happens too often against the good teams, the physical teams, that we're kind of fighting the refs instead of upping our physicality to kind of match the other teams.
And the crazy part about that, Raj, is that I thought that the Lakers played physical against the Clippers. Like I thought they played a physical game against the Clippers, and that's why it's so. Again, I don't know the right words, the right phrases or right words to, but it always comes back to like annoyed and disappointed. Like I'm annoyed that you guys just didn't play the same style defense that you played against the Clippers. You guys were getting your hands on every ball. You guys are mucking it up with them. You're like, F it, whatever. If we foul them, we foul them. But I'm going to take my chance at stripping the ball here, or contesting a shot there or body bumping him, whatever, that sort of thing. And it's just like it felt like the refs were definitely the zebras were definitely a theme, a topic in that game. But like to keep it to Austin, like Austin is in the not Raj of all combo guards in the league, Austin per like cleaning the glass. It's just I was looking at this yesterday. You know he's in the 99th percentile of effective field goal percentage, like 99th percentile of that position. That means you are the best of the best. Brother, you should never take 10 shots. Unless you get injured and leave a game early, there should never be a point that you're taking less than that many shots, 20 shots, 15 and 20 shots a game. I don't care. Like I would be remit. Like I would be, if I was like in his camp, like if it was in Austin's camp, I would be like, that's not acceptable. Like you have to shoot the ball. If you shoot, it is one thing. Like again, there's going to be people on this has been happening post 24 hours, like post 24 hours since any big Laker loss in national television. It's usually Luka's fat. Luka doesn't play defense. Luka doesn't share the ball. Austin Reaves is soft. We all knew this was Austin Reaves because now he's playing against a tough defense. And this is who Austin Reaves is. Austin Reaves can't defend. Like those 6 things, like 3 for each player, those are all the things that come out. But the one thing I never wanted to see is that Austin Reaves didn't shoot the ball. Like I can take all those things and be like, all right, like I've watched these guys enough where I know all this stuff isn't true. But if somebody comes to me and says, well, he's scared to shoot the ball or he's not shooting the ball, like there's nothing I can point to. I need Austin to be like, no. I'm not scared to shoot this ball. Like I'm like, oh, you're playing deep drop against me? Guess who's one of the better mid-range floater guys that are in the league? That's me. Like I'm taking that floater over Nemias Keita or whoever they had, or Vucevic that they had on the floor.
So you just went the human element. Talk to me the basketball reason. Why wasn't he shooting the ball against the Boston Celtics?
Bro, that I don't know. That's the reason. That's what I've been trying to figure out. Like I'm genuinely confused because JJ said after the game, he said they were in deep drop. It took away our reads. Yeah. So if it takes away your reads and passing you're a scoring player, what is your natural inclination to do? Shoot the ball, score the basketball. And Austin has played against deep drop. Minnesota runs deep drop against him all the time. He's torched them, right?
Tried him. Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I'm watching it and I'm like, what are you, Austin? What are we doing here, buddy? Like, are we hurt or did you get kicked in the leg or something? Am I missing something? And so that's my thing. I think again, not to throw Bill to Austin for Austin because I'm upset that Austin didn't shoot the ball more in a marquee game. I think maybe the team felt that the ball wasn't getting moved around enough. Because those Luka minutes were so heavy of Luka shooting the ball that like maybe Austin thought that it was his responsibility to distribute the ball to his teammates and get them involved. And again, I don't know who the adult is in the room that has to tell these guys this, but Boston did not care if they left Rui open. They did not care if they left Marcus Smart open. Like their goal was the people that we want taking those shots are going to take the shots that we want. And if they're giving you that floater or that mid-range shot, Austin, you have to take it. Like don't let them dictate where that ball is going to go. You are the person who decides that you're the one with the ball. And so, I mean, maybe the physicality and the refs not making calls and all that sort of stuff might have been a little bit, basketball's a rhythm sport. It throws people off. Like that kind of stuff can happen, but the volume I can't accept. At this point, Raj, we are however many games into the season. Austin is 40 games away, maybe less than that, away from going into an offseason, not including the playoffs, going into an offseason where he's going to ask for a max contract. I need you to shoot 20 times a game, buddy. Like you're not getting a max contract if you're not willing to be the guy that's going to shoot the ball. I don't care about your percentages. If we need you to score, we need you to score. That's just how it's got to work.
Yeah, to your point, he shot one shot from mid-range last game, made it, but one shot. 4 shots in the paint that weren't in the restricted area. Just not enough shot attempts. Again, I think Austin's probably the one who forces the least, right? In terms of he'll drive and like he'll look around if he doesn't get the guy in the pump fake. And as I've said, good teams don't go for pump fakes as the bad teams do. They have better defenders. They have more disciplined type of defenders. And so AR is one of the guys that will kind of kick it out when he can. This also is true. Like guys like Rui have to hit shots. Like they
They have to.
do
They have to. Yeah,
eventually.
for sure.
Rui, Smart, Laravia. These are guys that they're gonna have to hit the wide open ones. Vando hit a 3 against the Celtics. Was doing all kinds of other stuff as well, but Vando did hit a 3 against the Celtics. Anything else you want to go on this before we go into the next thing?
No, I just Austin shoot the ball more, dude. Like
Yes.
just shoot it. Like that. We talked about this thing. Last thing is we talked about this thing where role players, people get upset at role players for not touching the ball like after 8 minutes, and then they finally get a touch, and then people, Laker fans get super pissed at role players for not going 4 for 4 when they're barely touching the ball. Austin, you're not a role player anymore. You're asking for a max contract. I need you to play take the shot volume like a star. I don't need you to be safe. It's okay. Yeah. We believe in you, buddy. Let's get those shots up.
Has to get the shots up, and I think he will against. We'll see how he goes against Orlando. I think the next big game is against Denver coming up in a little bit. Mm-hmm. DeAndre Ayton. I think we've tiptoed around this, but DeAndre Ayton has fell out of every single good grace. It feels like, at least in the public nature of the fan base, there's this is who you were the whole time. The mask has come off. The honeymoon, as we mentioned earlier, has ended prematurely. So just some stats that I found interesting, Vinay. DeAndre Ayton, people go through cold spells, but shooting around 35% on that floater range in this month. Has not taken a mid-range jump shot this month. Not taking one in whatever games, 8, 9 games, whatever it's been. Definitely feels like the push to establish him as an offensive scorer has dissipated. His touches, his just the inclination to get him going. What have you seen from DeAndre Ayton, like in these last few months, in these last few games?
So my theory was that for a while was that while Austin was out, Austin was actually his best pick and roll partner. He was like one of the few guys that consistently found him the ball. And then when Austin was out, like he just turned into like this go grab a rebound, grab my misses, grab my makes, all that sort of stuff, inbound the ball sort of guy. And I'm only going to give you the ball when I feel like giving it to you. Yeah. And this is not, for the folks who are listening to this is not Luka specific. This is also as it relates to Bron. Like both of them have basically treated DeAndre just like a release valve and nothing more than that.
Good way to put
whereas I think Austin was a little more looking to create for him to capitalize on what it was. The Clippers game, I thought he played a good 3/4 of basketball, first half of basketball. And then again, all of a sudden he stopped touching the ball unless we really felt like using him as a release valve. So some of this is his own doing. But again, you go look at his shot volume, Raj, like since December 15th, he's not shooting the ball. He's not even getting the ball anymore. Like he'll like now he's like even passing up opportunities that you would, I watch it with coaches then. Like he had like a point blank play where he kicked it back out, I think, to LeBron, and I think Jaylen Brown stole the ball or something like that. But he had somebody shorter than him after he grabbed the rebound and he passed it out. My point to say is it is not a surprise that he is making mistakes. He's almost like more aloof as a player now, it seems, unless he's doing something very deliberate, like defending a guy in ISO or dealing with a guy coming downhill and trying to challenge his shot. Like those things he's still done pretty well. And occasionally he'll grab like contested rebounds. He'll do a decent job in that. But like the aloofness meter has increased significantly with him. And I wonder if the aloofness meter has increased with him because he is no longer involved in the offense in a staple manner. And I'm not saying he's the caliber of player that, you should carve out possessions for DeAndre Ayton and blah, blah, whatever it is. But there is a reality of this of he's not a guy who's going to stay super locked in for 30 minutes of a basketball or 20, however many minutes we play now, if he's not touching the ball. Like he
Yeah.
doesn't derive any of his energy or his concentration or any of that from the defensive side of basketball. Like he'll say that. And I'm sure his defense does matter. Like I don't think he's lying when he says he cares about defense and angry in the defense, because I don't
Yeah.
see him giving up stuff like just like, oh, F it, I don't want to play. But he's not going to be fully locked in or fully in rhythm if you're giving him how many shots did he take last game? 6?
Yeah, I think he
4 or
took like
5,
4
6 shots?
shots.
Like
Yeah.
against a team that plays downsized smaller guys, you're not. We made it a point to
3 shots. Vinay,
3 shots. We made it a point to post up LeBron, post up Luka, who were missing shots out of the post, but we couldn't find a way to carve out possessions for the actual 7-footer on our team against a team that's trying to switch those matchups. So like again, like who's the adult in the room? Did it need to be a called set? Like the only time I saw the best Ayton offense, this is my last part of my rant. The last Ayton shot that I saw made was because LeBron was trying to bully one of the Celtic white guys on the right hand side block, and then LeBron did like a drop pass to Ayton, who ends up dunking the ball or laying it up. And so my thing is like, if he's just going to be a release valve for when you get double teamed, he's going to be aloof. So like, should he not be aloof because he's getting paid $8 million a year to do that? For sure. But at the same time, this is the human element of basketball, bro. Like not everybody is going to be locked in like that. So
yeah.
that's my thought. Like I know people are upset with him.
Yeah.
He keeps getting benched at the end of games and all that sort of stuff. So
it feels like Lakers have stopped investing in him, and he's reciprocated the feeling. Yeah. Right. It's feels like a mutual. All right, this is the way we're going to go about this. All right, cool. I'll do my bare minimum. I'm not saying he's checked out or anything.
No.
Of
definitely
that nature.
not. Yeah.
But I think you're right. You know what it looks like, Vinay? It looks like every time he catches it now, he feels like the world is in his hands. Like I remember early in the season, he would catch it and he had such a nice touch and the floater.
Super decisive. Yeah.
But he knew he was getting 7, 8, 9 touches, even if they weren't shots. He was getting like a consistent rhythm of, all right, I get a chance to dribble here. I get a mid-range jumper. I get a hook shot. Now the ball touches him. He's like, I better make this, or because I'm not getting another shot for another. Yeah. And I think that's a really tough place to be. And like, I think there's a difference between should he be so offensively minded that he stops doing the defensive stuff. Like, no, would you like a Derek Lively in the middle or whoever, right? Who like, don't give me any touches. I'll just block shots, rebound, and catch lobs all day. But that's not who you went and targeted. That's not who you went and signed. That's not who you spoke up during the summer. I don't mean to keep bringing up deep drop, but the counter against a drop coverage, like the counter against it, as teams would do to us all the time when we'd play drop coverage, is a big man that can shoot. That was the counter because the center is drop back. He can't get out to contest. The mid-range jumper is the one that's open. That's the open shot. But the Lakers don't give it to him in the pocket. He does not get pocket passes.
It's completely died. It's completely died. They don't get. Okay, there's this thing that's happening, Roger. That's like,
wait, really quick, Vinay, because this comment just come up, and I just like when you say this to a big man, like like he could generate results off his by rebounding, but does like yeah,
that's a crazy thing to say, dude. What do you
like, do you know how crazy that is to say that to someone like DeAndre Ayton, who's again, I'm not.
We appreciate the comment, Mark. So we're not picking on you, but it's just that this is a logic that has been being presented on the timeline too, as well. Right. Like I've seen this angle be given.
I have as well, and so again, DeAndre Ayton knows his standing in the pecking order. He has no aspirations of like, oh, I want to be the first option. Yeah. Like he understands this is a Luka, Austin, and LeBron team. He 100% gets all of that. But in these second units, when it's him plus Smart, Rui, and one of them, I think he's asking for a few, hey, let me have the ball here. Let me get a touch. There was a one play where I think he sealed a guy, had his hands like, hey, like I got it, and was just cleared out of the lane and went, no. And I'm not like, I wasn't super high on it. I I think he's had a better year than people give him credit for. I think it's gone downhill for a very concerning amount of time. So I understand people who are completely out because I think the history, his like past precedes him, right? He's had difficulties in consistent places. But I don't think the Lakers do enough to get invested in a guy that they went and sought out. And so he's not Jackson Hayes. Like he's not a guy that just will catch lobs and be happy to catch 3 dunks a game and go and scream to the crowd and run back and be completely okay with it. He's a completely different dude that he needs touches. He needs to feel involved.
There is this idea, Raj,
Yeah.
that like DeAndre Ayton is a grunt. Like he's like a dumb lumbering center that like, oh, I'm just getting up and down the floor. I don't have any offensive basketball skills, so all I can do is catch and dunk, do
Right.
basic stuff. I need to be spoon fed. So I think the fan base has this perspective. Like they think that like that's what he is, and he's clearly much more talented than that. And of course, he'll have good games, bad games. He'll make shots. Like we've seen him have bad games too as well. My thing is like, okay, there's this thing that's been happening every time Ayton makes like one bad play, where somebody on the timeline goes, "Luka's fed up with DeAndre Ayton. LeBron is fed up with DeAndre Ayton." All right, well, if I'm DeAndre Ayton, I just saw Luka and LeBron brick up a bunch of tough twos in the post. You know what I'm saying? Like this entire Boston game. I'm not saying he's on the same caliber of those guys, but I'm like, I'd probably be like, F it, dude. Like, whatever. Like, oh, you passed me the ball in the post? Who do I kick this out to? Like, you guys, clearly this ball wasn't meant to come to me because you guys think that it's better to take ridiculous tough twos over guys instead of passing it to the open guy to even skip pass the ball to somebody else. Or you just want me to come and give you a screen so you get a better look for yourself. And then when I'm actually open, you don't actually want to give it, even when you're having a bad shooting game. So it's just like, the reason why I'm bringing up this concept of like this dumb lumbering oaf guy is because I think fans think that other players on the court can't see what's happening. Like, I think sometimes fans think that like DeAndre just goes down there, watches his teammates miss a bunch of easy shots that he's open on. And again, I'm not supporting DeAndre in terms of like giving him bail for not doing it, but just the logic of like, he's watching his teammates miss easy layups. Brown was missing easy layups at the rim. Like they were contested. I'm not going to say like they were wide open, but he's having a tough time scoring at the rim. Luka's having a tough time in the short mid range. And DeAndre's watching this happen the entire time. And at no point does anybody think to themselves, maybe we should pass it to the 7-footer that has a mismatch on him here and there. Nobody on the bench, or maybe they did do it and they ignored it. Who knows what it is? Like JJ's not going, hey, they're taking the switch. Let's just set up the switch so DeAndre can get it really close to the rim, that sort of thing. Like, we're not doing any of that. We're just like, no, there's this big lumbering oaf that's a 7-footer that's on our team. And then that's why I think like a lot of people feel that way, like feel so happy about Jackson. Because I'm not saying that he's a lumbering oaf, but like Jackson's just like, you don't want to pass to me? I'm happy. You're gonna pass it to me? I'm happy. So like he's always gonna give you that sort of thing. But Roger, against the good teams, against like the Minnesota Timberwolves that have a legit 7-foot guy, you're gonna need DeAndre. Jackson's not gonna cut it against a guy like Rudy Gobert. So like this thing that we keep doing, where we keep knocking down our role players. This is not DeAndre specific. This applies to Rui and Marcus Smart, who have been, and Jake LaRavia, who've been up and down and stuff like that. Like at some point, I think the fan base is going to need to understand, no matter how you feel about these guys, how high, how low you feel about these guys from game to game, you're going to need them to at least play at a bare minimum. And if that involves you just keeping them involved for a couple possessions, even if he's just touching the ball, that can make all the difference for a player, even if it's not actual shot volume that's going up. And so that was my long rant. Bro, as you can see, the theme of today has been like me having these long rants on individual players, but like that, like we can't get rid of him now, Raj. Like we can't. Nope. Rui's here to stay until the end of the season. DeAndre's here to stay till the end of the season. All these guys are here to stay. So it's just when the game gets real ugly, we can't just be like it's all their fault. Like at some point, we have to be, as fans or as star players, I'm saying it as if we're the star players. We have to be a little responsible for whether we're actually using him. They were running a 3-man weave yesterday, Raj. The Celtics were with that Baylor Shireman guy, with Peyton Pritchard, and I think like maybe with Jaylen Brown or one other guy. They were running a 3-man weave, and they were just running ghost screens over and over again, waiting to see which one of the Lakers would fall asleep so they could set up a wide open three. And it's just like half the time they didn't even get it, but they still ran it because they knew that would create a good look eventually. So we got to get to that point, man.
Yeah, DeAndre Ayton's taking about 5 shots a game in the month of February. Again,
so low. Without Austin, pretty much so low.
And pretty much they're all at the rim, right? They are restricted area shots. They're layups, dunks, last minute, shovels over once the defense is rotated. And again, was it like in a perfect world, does DeAndre Ayton just run up the floor, up and down, block shots, rebound, happily while not getting shots? Sure. Like that's not the guy you got. And so I think there's a level of investment that was needed. And again, maybe it's a health thing. Maybe it's, losing Austin kind of hurt his playmaking. Luka, I think clearly now, I don't think he does this consciously, but I don't think he's a guy that really wants to throw a bunch of pocket passes. Like he wants to snake the screen. He wants to throw lobs. That's just not a play that he makes very consistent. Like he's coming off looking to score. That's something I think I'm fine with him looking to score, but I think it puts guys like DA in different positions. But I think the second unit stuff is the strange stuff where he'll play in a unit with LeBron and maybe one other scorer, and still he just can't get any touch, doesn't get the basketball.
Doesn't get the Clippers shape.
Yeah. And so, and I get like to DA's credit, like there's games where he'll play great and still not close the game. Like Jackson Hayes will close over him. Maxi Kleber closed over him. Sometimes LeBron at center closes over him. Like there's no like, hey, here's your reward type of thing. It's just, I remember the first time DA didn't close, like, oh, DeAndre Ayton didn't close his game.
Yeah.
And then now it's just like, it's just a thing that like DeAndre Ayton may not close the game, and it's now a regular thing. So, give him credit for at least not making a stink about that. But yeah, I don't know. It's been a strange thing because it's almost been like a self-fulfilling prophecy where like, everyone hated DeAndre Ayton and then he played well. Like, oh, let's see if this lasts. Let's see how long this lasts.
They're almost rooting for it to fail.
Yeah, rooting for it to fail. And then like because again, he's shooting around 35% on floaters, which will not stay. Like this is a very efficient big man. But those shots, 35% on 5 shots, Vinay, like it takes a lot of the volume out. Yeah. You're not, and so that's where the numbers become louder than they probably should be.
Yeah.
Is he a perfect center? No, like is he probably the perfect fit next to Luka Donic? Probably not. But to your point, you need him this year. And I don't know, it's been strange to see where they are at now, where he was talked about as center of the future for the summer, for a lot of the early year. What kind of number will they get? And now the conversation Vinay's gone to, man, I hope he doesn't pick up the $8 million.
I'll tell you this, Raj. I'll tell you this. For whatever Laker fans think of DeAndre Ayton and his up and down play this season, I would bet money that there's a team out there right now that's willing to give him more money than we have on his player option this year. Like, I think there are teams out there looking at DeAndre and saying, oh yeah, they're like, he's just there. He's like a crash dummy for this team. Like, go screen for me, go grab my misses. Like that's how they're kind of treating him. And I 100% think that there's a team out there that's going to take a chance on him for more than the $8 million or whatever we have him under, if he's not a Laker next season. And they're going to get a more productive version of what he is. And it's not because he's getting paid more. It's purely going to be because he's just more involved in whatever that team's offense is, because there are teams out there that need bigs that can finish. And the center market's not exactly robust nowadays too. Anyways.
Yeah, there's a disconnect to me. I felt like DeAndre has had a better year than people would give him credit for. Big man is also the easiest to me, especially when they're not the star of your team.
Yeah.
You kind of really to put an eyeglass on, right? In terms of, all right, you didn't let's look at your rebounds. You had 6 rebounds tonight. And DeAndre is probably like, Luka got 13 rebounds tonight. Like,
Like,
where?
who do you think is boxing out the guy so he can go take those rebounds, bro? Like, you think Steven Adams averaged like 15 rebounds? Like, I think he probably
Yeah,
did at one point, but like, there was a thing in OKC, not to tangent too much, but
I
like,
remember this. Yeah,
where like OKC's points per possession when Russ grabbed a rebound was so high, like during his MVP season or something like that, that they actually figured that out. And then Steven Adams was like, no, I'm just going to box out everybody. And Russ, you're going to go
yeah,
grab this rebound and you're just going to go
and
because Russ will
push.
take it
Yeah,
up the floor. I think they do some version of that with Luka. Like the teams do that kind of stuff all the time. So the rebounding numbers are very interesting. Raj, I want to touch on this because it wouldn't be fair that we talked about Austin and Luka and Ayton and all these different role players, but we didn't spend at least a few minutes talking about LeBron.
yes,
I've been ranting on everybody, not ranting, passionately discussing those players. So I want to add one thing that I'd like to discuss about LeBron. We are running post-ups for LeBron.
okay,
We've been running post-ups for him all season. We've been running that 88 action or whatever I think is what you pointed out, where we run the mismatch to get Braun, a smaller guy, in the post. I don't know the numbers behind this, so this is purely from my eyeballs. This is not sourced by any analytics. That's not a good possession. Braun in the post, I would say over the last month or so, doesn't feel to me like a good. It feels good when he's kicking out to guys when teams double him. But when teams play him straight up and they say, we're not sending a hard double so you can make that easy pass to the center or the easy skip pass across the board, it doesn't seem like it's good offense because it seems like it's too everybody's focused. There's no movement anywhere else. Maybe now it's going to change with Luke Kennard there when he's in those lineups. It feels like it's been something that's less not movement. There's less energy on the floor when that's happening on the offensive end. And we did that in the Boston game. We ran those mismatches. I thought we went out of our way to run some of those mismatches, those post ups. And Boston did what I thought they were going to do, which is what they did with Luka. It was just they did the same thing to LeBron. They never really sent the hard double. They said, try and score on our guy. And I think Keita got a late goaltend call that wasn't called. But they basically said, we're not gonna double you or challenge your shot, send the second guy to challenge your shot until you actually make a move to go to the rim. And it felt like a lot of the basketball energy on those possessions specifically, not like all throughout the entire game. I think that kind of slowed down some of what was happening. And I think what's been happening as of late. Now, granted, Braun's knee has been kind of iffy. I think they talked about that prior to the Clippers game. My concern is if you're going to run bench lineups where Braun is going to be doing that specific thing, there's two arguments being made here, Raj. One is he needs shooters on the floor to space it. That's what Braun folk will tell you. Oh, you don't have shooting on the floor or they're not knocking down shots, which is also fair. You need shooters on the floor. But there's also another problem with that. If I put shooters on the floor, Raj, those shooters can't defend. I can't put Luke Kennard on the floor for LeBron and then get upset that the Lakers can't defend with those bench groups, and the reason why I'm juxtaposing this Braun segment here is because of DeAndre Ayton. Like DeAndre Ayton is supposed to be the guy that's supposed to help out Braun when he's not able to get downhill or when teams are being really handsy with him and he's not getting foul calls. And so like DeAndre is a guy that's supposed to help out with stuff like that. And we're not using him in stuff like that. Like it so all of these combinations, all to bring up that if this is going to continue to be a thing, Raj, if we're going to continue to run these post-ups for LeBron, JJ needs to decide what he wants that lineup to be. It's either going to be a bunch of spacing with no defense because he's running that with Vando apparently as center. We use Vando as our backup center against Boston. Or you're going to play a bunch of defensive guys that can't shoot and go tell Braun to go shoot the ball every single time. The same way that you make Luka do it with those non-shooting lineups. You need to figure out what direction you want to go with it. And if you want to sprinkle in Austin, do that. You want to sprinkle in DeAndre Ayton, go ahead and do that. But we need to pick a direction because it can't go both ways. You can't. You can't. Yeah, and that's my rant specifically on that Braun part.
To your point, I checked it. LeBron's post-ups have been ineffective this season from a points per possession. Like he's in like around the 30th percentile. Now it's not a crazy amount of possessions. He was hurt a lot, but in any case, it hasn't been inefficient. play for the team this year. Again, 41 years old. There's contextual stuff you can
All
put
stuff
for
fair,
all
very fair.
stuff you
Yeah.
can throw into it. To me, the Braun group should have Austin and Ayton in there. Like, I think Luka can carry offensive units. They're also pairing Jackson with Luka because again he likes the lob threat, so that gives LeBron DeAndre Ayton. What JJ is starting to revert back to, you can kind of feel, that meme where Spider-Man is staring at the goblin mask and going like, it's right there, I gotta put it on. He's gone back to LeBron at center units,
He's
Vinay.
insane, dude.
It's
I don't understand
it's
that guy.
it's LeBron and Rui at center once again. Like, it's not enough for a large amount of people to catch on, but it is coming back in these like micro doses in where
You'll do it for like 3 possessions. They'd be like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's like the needle's getting right into he feels the needle against his skin, and he's just like, no, let me take it back. Let me take it back.
It's crazy. Like Luke Kennard is in these units, and it's just like it's like these small ball units with like Luke Kennard, LeBron, Rui, Smart, and like Mando. It's like just no ball handling. It's just funny. But he's like slowly reverting to these units. Like LeBron's trying, and to like the post up thing, I think that's just a natural progression of Luka and Austin. Vinay lead the league as a duo and pick and roll ball handlers. Like, they're so far ahead of the next guy. They're also extremely efficient. They're in the 90th percentile, both of them. So not only do they run the most pick and rolls in the league, they are extremely efficient at it. But that domino means, where does LeBron get his offense from? Like, if those two are dominating that area of the floor where ball screens are being ran, then puts LeBron in the post, right? And I think that's also a less energy use place for him, where he doesn't have to exclude a lot of energy to do, and so that's why he's kind of going to the post. But I'm with you, there's got to be some, and I think that's the whole point. That's why you wanted to see these three play together. LeBron's been the X factor, of the one that's been out for the most amount of time, so he's the one being put in of these different positions. When he gets asked, he will directly tell you, I have not been on ball for very much of this year. And so that's kind of the place they're trying to find him in. But yeah, I like him next to Austin and Ayton, and give him kind of the most starters kind of look, especially in the regular season. I do think there's a defensive jump, Vinay, that LeBron's going to have to make at some point. I'm not sure.
Let me ask you a divisive. Finish your thought. I want to ask you a divisive question.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say there's got to be a defensive jump that LeBron's gonna have to make at some point. Whether that happens, not sure that happens in the end of February, but ramping up towards the playoffs, that jump is gonna have to come. The team is just not good enough without him making the defensive leap that the offensive burden taken off from him should grant him. And it hasn't come yet.
So let me ask you a question, Raj.
All right. Should I come off camera for this one? Or
No. You
right.
have to be on camera. This is gonna be
good. All right.
This is a question that, I mean, it's not a new question. It's just a question I'm curious about. I'd like to know your thoughts. LeBron coming out and saying, I've been off ball all season. Like, I'm not on ball as much. I'm not being used as much.
Right.
Should LeBron be used more with the ball in his hands?
On this team, I don't think.
Take the team out. From what you've seen from LeBron James this season as a player, in a vacuum, forget the end results. Ignore wins or losses related to what it is. What you've seen from him, you're Braun FC, Raj. All you do is focus on Braun. You don't focus on anything else. All you care about is that. You're Braun FC. So you tell me, do you think LeBron's usage should go up more?
I think it's at a pretty good mark of where it should be. I think that I would be okay his usage. I know this is not how basketball works, but I'd be okay with dipping his usage just to get the defensive bump. Like, I think the team needs his defensive kind of ability. He's the best defender on the team, like, at least potential wise. He can't do it every night, but potential wise, he has the highest defensive ceiling on the team. Marcus Smart, I guess, would be second, but that's, like, again, Smart is a fine defender at his age now and the miles that he's had. But LeBron can still get to being a special defender in a way the Lakers just don't have anywhere else on the roster. Jaylen Brown, we didn't even talk about this, Vinay. Jaylen Brown after the game, I thought it was a pretty damning quote that just got lost underneath all the other rubbish that went out today, but basically said they were doing so many gimmicks to hide the fact that they didn't want to guard us.
Yeah.
That's a pretty
that zone that they run, that zone. Steve Nash and Braun did this thing where they talked about the zone on their Mind the Game pod.
Yeah.
And Steve Nash is just like, again, Steve Nash, world-class player. I'm not going to act like I'm smarter than him, but he's just like, yeah, there's creative stuff you could do with the zone. I was like, no, there isn't. There is nothing creative that you could do with the zone. It's a matchup zone. That's what the Lakers have been trying to play. They've been playing more matchup zone where they just they just change who it is that's at the top and the bottom. That's the interesting stuff that they do. Rui's at the top instead of the bottom because he's a 6'9", as opposed to putting a smaller guard up there. But that's what the Lakers are trying to do. The Lakers are trying to play this version of matchup zone, but they're specifically telling certain guys, no, you can go out on the perimeter, but you can't go out on the perimeter. You two guys have to stay down here because we need you to grab the rebound when this guy boxes out, that sort of thing. But go ahead. Because Jaylen Brown was telling the comments.
Yeah. Jaylen Brown basically is like, you guys are scammers. like it's like, this is all fake. Like, you just don't want to guard us. And I thought that's an insane quote from a fellow contender, as however you want to put the Lakers. And so that's where I think just LeBron's got to be the defensive monster on this team. Is that a fair ask in February for a 41-year-old? No. But that is the need of the team. Again, I'm not asking for him to do that now.
Yeah.
I think the Lakers will hover enough at their win pace to where he's not going to have to push the gas on that right now. But against the good teams, he will. I'm not sure how much of his defensive effort was there against Boston. I'm not sure how much of there was there against the Clippers. It's not like he's locking down Jaylen Brown. Like, it's so.
Hey, again, they tried to ISO Jaylen Brown on Luka a couple times. I thought Luka did a pretty good job.
Luka had a good defensive game. He had a solid defensive game.
I mean, Sands, if you remove the possessions where Peyton Pritchard and Jaylen Brown were basically stiff arming their way into open looks, like, I thought the Lakers did a pretty good job in isolation against those guys.
I agree. Yeah, I thought they were fine with that. Some of that was, I thought Jaylen Brown took some tough shots as well. But in any case, I thought Luka was fine defensively. I thought the whole team was fine, other than Peyton Pritchard turning into Steph Curry for 10 minutes or whatever it was, and just hitting step back 45 footers. But yeah, that
like two logo shots like that bailed them out. And again, like, in the grand scheme of things, you won't think of anything, but the Lakers played great defense in both of those possessions. It's just Peyton Pritchard hit a crazy three, and it's just those are backbreaking. So it is what it is. Hats off to him. He made his shots.
He was incrediable. He was the best player on the floor. Sadly, in a game where we have two other white guys, he somehow was the best white guy on the floor.
The best white guy.
Yeah, they had it's a Boston thing. But in any case, I don't know. The LeBron season has been strange. He missed the whole first month and a half or whatever, and then Luka and Austin traded going out, at different points, and now we finally have all three of them, and it feels like we're back kind of at the drawing board going, all right, how do we fit them around this team that was made 6 months ago? Luke Kennard has come in. I've loved Luke Kennard. We haven't really I thought Luke's been awesome. I still think the Lakers should fine him every time he doesn't shoot the ball. Like, there should be real consequences. Just joking, but in any case, I do think he should shoot more than he does. He took a jab step three. I was like, why are you jab stepping? That is, I forgot it was a center on him. I was like, just take the three, Luke. Like, they're not guarding you. But in any case, I think he's been great. I liked his fit against all three of them. But yeah, man, strange weekend. Clippers win was awesome.
Yeah.
And then right away dropped by the Celtics loss. Now we play a bunch of teams that are kind of in that, bottom tier of their conferences.
Mm-hmm.
So a chance to kind of strike up a win streak. But interesting week coming.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the team. I would like the Lakers to find some level of like consistency in the areas where positive consistency in the areas where they have not had positive consistency. Like I didn't like the fact that we were losing contested rebounds to that Boston team. Like I didn't like the fact that they controlled the pace of that entire game. It felt like after the first quarter. I didn't like the fact that Jaylen Brown was able to go multiple times, not just one time, but multiple times, full court off of a rebound, and nobody picked him up until he got to like the free throw line level. Like these are all things that have just whooped the Lakers all season long. And I don't think a single individual is going to be able to fix it for the Lakers. But the last thing I'll say is this, Raj. We have the lineup that I wanted. Austin, Marcus, Luka, Braun, Ayton. In theory, this lineup should be better than the lineup that had Rui in it. Granted, there was a different schedule of players that Rui was part of at the start of the season when LeBron was out. But we've also seen what the lineup looks like with Rui and LeBron, the starting group with Rui and LeBron instead of Marcus instead of Rui. That was atrocious. That was terrible.
Yeah.
This lineup can't be bad, Raj. It can't be like it can't also be equally as bad as that Rui LeBron lineup, starting lineup. Because if it is, I think the conversation around, I mean, I'm not one to mince words. I think the conversation around LeBron is going to be very, very different because you can't now say, well, it's DeAndre Ayton's fault. Well, it's Marcus Smart's fault. Like one guy is like Marcus Smart's a role player. He's going to play the same way he always does. DeAndre Ayton's a role player. He's going to play the same way he always does. So our 3 stars, the reason I'm mentioning this is because our 3 stars have to figure that out. Like whatever it is that you need to figure out your offensive defensive balance, like you need to figure that out because this lineup data is what fans are pointing at. They're going to say the net rating with this lineup group is worse than Rui and it's as bad as when LeBron and Rui were together, which we objectively know is a bad lineup. So that can't happen. And if that happens, things will get ugly. I think in the conversation around this team. So that's really my last thought, Roger. I just want to see these small things: defensive rebounding, contested rebounds, effort on defense, pace control. I just want to see us trend in the right direction with these things. And then from there, I'll just take whatever you give me. Can't shoot for crap in the series when we lose, whatever. I'm okay with that. I can live with that. But not on the effort side. I got to see more on that end.
I've been pleading to get these 3 players on the floor together. Yes. I got it. And I just want to see what it looks like. I want to see 10 straight games. Let's see what they are. These 3 players that, great basketball minds. You put those together. Hopefully they can figure out. It still looks super clunky. A lot of stuff to kind of iron out. They did have practice today, but not a lot of practices, that'll be going forward as the season comes to conclusion here. So I just want to see kind of what it looks like. I think it's still strange that Rui and LeBron continue to play together, even like while they're separated in different lineups. Now somehow LeBron and Rui still are the ones that share the floor together. So there's some weirdness still that's going on there. Jackson Hayes.
We said for like 3 years, Rod, we're like, oh, you got Rui off the bench, perfect sub for LeBron because he's the same guy. And they're like, no, we're just gonna play them together. Like, why? Why do you guys keep doing it? It's just like I wonder. Sometimes I think like JJ watches the pod. It's like, you know what? These guys have a great idea. You know what? Fuck them. I'm just gonna do something else all together.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know. Last thing I'll say, I would love to see a dude get a shot. Like most athletic dude on our team is doing windmills in front of 400 people. Like I want to see that. I want to see that guy. I love the G League, but like Adu Thiero is an NBA athlete. Is he an NBA player? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I have no idea.
You won't know until you play him.
He's a freaking crazy athlete who can jump. Boston plays these dudes that like literally they're there because they're athletic. Like they went and sought out Neemias Queta. It was like, hey, this is an athletic big that we can turn into something by putting him into our system. I'd love to see a dude get that shot. Like I think he's developing fine, I'm sure, in the G League, but I don't know, there's a developmental curve that maybe increases when you're playing next to LeBron, Luka, learning from guys who've done it, Marcus Smart, right? There's just stuff you pick up on a daily that you don't get when you're not next to them in the locker room. So love to see him just get a shot. I really like the Luke Kennard addition, but feels like we're all back on page 1.
every loss we get
False hope. Oh, Rome. No, don't do that.
Shout out to our guy, Coach Rome of Coaches Den. Wonderful group. They have a Discord. They watch Laker games in there. It's a very lively group, very entertaining group. All range of emotions. Love those guys. Rome saying this next few game win streaks going to give the world false hope. Rome, we know that that elevator is going to go up and everybody's going to be happy. And when that first loss comes to like after like a 7-game win streak comes to some random team,
Ooh, that cliff.
it's going to be everybody telling us some new guy has jumped in front of Luka Doncic as a in the MVP race. So, folks, this is a lot of fun. I feel much better emotionally after holding this in for 24 hours after the Boston game. But the Lakers have a lot of games. They have a long way to go. The season isn't cemented in the sense that they can't improve on the things that they need to improve on, especially now that we've got all three of our guys fully healthy. There is sort of a period of them playing with each other and figuring each other out that's required. And so I think the Lakers will have plenty of opportunity to do that. And I think both for Raj and myself, we want to see them trend in the right direction in the areas that are needed for good playoff basketball. So we'll be looking forward to that. But as always, folks, we appreciate everybody that was able to join us today. If you were unable to join us from the start, you can always head over to Lakers Detailed on YouTube, and you can rewatch this video, the video as soon as I conclude it. Or if you want the audio version, you could always subscribe to Lakers Detailed on Apple and Spotify, and I'll get it uploaded up there too as well. And for all the folks, Brandon, who sent that wonderful super chat, $10 super chat, we appreciate you. Also wanted to shout out to all the folks that are part of the Detailers Club. It's a way for folks to support Lakers Detailed and Radio KBE. You become a monthly member. It's $3 a month. I give you access to this Discord where I'm involved on a daily basis, and we have very hardcore Laker fans who think about the Lakers the same way that we do. There's a voice chat in there that's always open for anybody in the Detailers Club that wants to vent after a game and just talk to each other. It's a fun space. And we talk about all kinds of stuff, not just Lakers stuff. But if you'd like to do that, you can go to YouTube and become a member there, and then just message me, and I'll make sure that you get into the Discord. But as always, folks, whether you're listening to this during the day or you listen to this in the evening, we appreciate you and all the support that you give to Lakers Detailed. And if nothing else, we'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.
Peace.